It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, hosting the show today. Thank you so much for joining me along the journey. Kicking off this week, the holiday weekend brought beautiful sunny days for Independence Day and celebrations all across Greater West Bloomfield. Here are some pictures and some video from the Oakland County Boat Club fireworks in Sylvan Lake last week, courtesy of Candace Watts on Facebook. Great shots of the grand finale over Sylvan Lake just before the 4th of July proper on the holiday weekend. A fantastic presentation once again this year from our friends at the Oakland County Boat Club, an annual tradition they continue all throughout the holidays each and every year. If you want to learn more about these festivities and the tradition at the Oakland County Boat Club, you can visit our on-demand page where our very own Jake Schaff spoke to Oakland County Boat Club Commodore Tim Harris just before the holiday about the history of the show and how the community continues to support their annual fireworks on Sylvan Lake, whether they are or are not a member of the Oakland County Boat Club itself. Great celebration of our nation's 249th birthday over that long weekend we just got out of. West Bloomfield Parks is doing its part this summer to keep kids active and learning, taking them off of their phones and other devices and getting them out into the great outdoors. Civic Center TV reporter Jake Schaff has more.
With summer currently underway, parents are looking for any way to help keep their kids active and engaged throughout the next few months. And Camp WB is doing exactly that, with fun and engaging activities to help exercise the mind as well as the body.
You know, there is this summer slide of learning, and as far as like reading and stuff goes, so we just try to keep them engaged and not like on electronics. That's why we love hosting camp. You can't bring anything from home, so there aren't any electronics here, and it's really awesome to see the younger kids not with their face down. It's amazing. West Bloomfield does an awesome job. You know, I've been working with kids for about 9 years. I've never been trained for a camp so well, and in addition, the staff, the full-time staff is amazing. And just to be able to utilize the spaces, they've made them beautifully accessible, and it's just nice to have them at our disposal.
So I'm actually a physical education major in college right now, and so I decided to come back to my hometown, West Bloomfield, and give back to my community and ensure that all of our kids are having a good time this summer.
What do you hope are the biggest things that all of these kids take away from their experience with these day camps?
Most definitely that they had a lot of fun. You know, summer break, summer camp is a lot of people as adults, they have very fond memories of summer camp. So I want to make sure they have a lot of fun over the summer and that they can look back 10, 15 years from now and be like, I had a great time at Camp WB.
Yeah, we almost treat camp as an unstructured school environment. So it's more of the like recess, specials, having fun type of part, and not so much the like math, reading, and all of that. So it's really helpful for their social development and their emotional development as well.
And how many kids do you tend to have per year for something like Camp WB?
We have 55 per week, and I think last year that came out to 180 individual kids. So right now they're playing some games outside. They do things like kickball. They're playing a game called Steal the Bacon. And then we do crafts. So we do at least one craft a week, and that's something that helps with their fine and gross motor skills.
Oh, camp is so important in development for kids. They just become more independent and more confident. And so I would just hope that they have that confidence to go to the next activity in their lives, whether it be a softball team or a soccer team. And also it's really cool to see some of them where they've never met each other before, but they realize they're in the same school. So now that they can say hi to each other throughout the year. Like we have fourth graders and kindergartners meeting. So how cool when you go back to school when you're in first grade, you're like, I know that fifth grader. So the relationships too.
The best part is honestly making the connections. Like when you see kids come in here, they're a little bit nervous and shy because they might not know anyone here. And then when you get to become that person for them that can make this a safe place, and then they can be themselves and have the time of their lives, it is the best feeling. And also making an impact on them. Like I had some kids remember me last year, which I did not expect, and that made me so grateful and happy.
There were smiles of delight on not only the kids' faces, but the counselors as well, as everybody had an amazing time out here today at Drake Sports Park. And these camps are going to be going on all summer long, providing several more opportunities for memories and learning throughout the summer. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate the story, Jake. More information on Camp WB and other West Bloomfield Parks events all summer long are on Facebook at WB Parks, as well as on their website on wbparks.org. The West Bloomfield Trail is often the most active during this season of the year, and among those enjoying outdoor recreation are the many people, including those in Greater West Bloomfield, getting ready to participate in the Detroit Free Press Marathon and their other events like half marathons, 5Ks, and more coming up downtown in October. Civic Center TV reporter Kevin McIntosh has the story.
The Road to Detroit Free Press Marathon made a stop right here in West Bloomfield. We're out at the early morning training run to see why this event is so important and what's inspiring runners to lace up and keep going.
I'm all about health and wealth and, to keep myself from continuously being obese back and forth. So anytime a run is scheduled or there's an opportunity to do some physical activity, I'm all for it.
I've only done one marathon so far. That was December 2023 in Hawaii. So my friends are always pushing me to go to the next level. So this year I decided to go to the next level. So I came out here. I need to get some trail running in and just miles in general.
It's Saturday and I had to do 10 miles. Yeah, it's a normal Saturday run for me, 10 miles.
Achieving personal goals, training for the Detroit Free Press Marathon, or running your regular routes bring these local residents together. But Ambassador for the Road to Detroit Training Group, Courtney Chase, tells us the goal for the event, while others tell us why they enjoyed the group run.
The goal is to get the community involved in their marathon training with other runners so that we can create an environment where everyone feels welcome to come to.
Running in a group keeps you motivated. It's fun, it's entertaining. You can go different paces. There's fast runners, slow runners, so you never feel like you're getting left behind. And then they always just push you to do whatever miles you set out to do.
So when you run with a group, sometimes you run with people faster and sometimes you run with people slower. So it gives you the opportunity to push yourself or pull yourself back if you're always doing too much. So it gives you, that type of feeling when you're running with a group versus when you're running solo.
Beyond achieving personal goals, local runner DeLorean Cotton tells us why events like this is important for runners of the Greater West Bloomfield community.
I think it means a lot. I think it means that people of all, areas or all avenues are able to come together and fellowship for one cause. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a wonderful thing for the community as well.
Well, it's just a chance for us to get together. Like I said, it's a community thing. We get together, we hang out, we go for a run, we have a good time.
It grows around the community. There are people that you'll meet here that end up becoming your friends for the rest of your life. So it's really just about building the community, even just aside from running.
With every step, runners are getting closer to their marathon and personal goals, and West Bloomfield is proud to be part of that journey. From the West Bloomfield Trail, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Just 103 days left to go until the Detroit Free Press Marathon events. They begin October 17th, run through October 19th, and plenty of more Road to Detroit Free Press Marathon events happening in West Bloomfield and throughout southeastern Michigan. Leading up to that event, you can find all of that information on their website, freepmarathon.com. One more time, that is freepmarathon.com. When your kids go back to West Bloomfield Middle School this fall, outdoor play will look a whole lot different. We told you a few months back right here on the Splash Live about the West Bloomfield School District Board of Education approving a new project to install a turf athletic field at the West Bloomfield Middle School. Now that field is going in. Take a look at some of the pictures from the installers themselves as they put in the brand new field, and it is a beauty, bringing a brand new look to the middle school, connecting Laker Nation through their athletics athletics with a design chosen by you, the Lakers themselves. It's a whole different design than you see at the Swamp over at West Bloomfield High School, but it employs Lyle the Crocodile, the logo for West Bloomfield High School, and all the athletics teams front and center all the way across the field, with the Lakers drawn across the middle of the field as well. For those listening on the radio, more pictures you'll see on our website on civiccentertv.com. And you watch this back on demand later on. The field replaces what was a grass field there previously, replaced in order to improve safety conditions on site for kids both in their athletics classes and after school sports. The facility also used by both middle school and high school athletics teams for practice fields. So had a lot of foot traffic, a lot of use. That means that there's a lot of repair that has to be done. There's some annual wear and tear on the grass field. That was just a lot of upkeep. So to improve safety conditions, reduce the workload of management and upkeep of the field, the school district decided to put the financial investment into a turf field. More updates on the West Bloomfield School District are always available on their Facebook page. Follow them at West Bloomfield Schools. And of course, you can visit their website for more as well, wbsd.org. Recently, a fond farewell to a beloved restaurant in Sylvan Lake as the Grill closed its doors after an amazing 24-year run serving the prettiest little city in Michigan and its neighboring communities as well. Fan favorite for all those decades, so many memories made along the way with many families, friends, and more at the Grill. I had a chance to speak to longtime owner Vicki Kirker as she prepared for her retirement and made the final touches closing the Sylvan Lake institution. Here's our conversation. Vicki, congratulations on 24 years and, of course, on your retirement. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Glad to have you on. It was a busy last couple of weeks after the announcement that the Grill would be closing. Of course, it closed over the weekend before we have you live with us on today's show. Just take us through, from your perspective, the outpouring of love to the Grill over the last couple of weeks following the announcement.
Our customers have been amazing. On Facebook alone, there were 80 or so testimonials. Ex-employees, people I haven't seen in 24 years, came back to tell us what an impact we had had on their lives and what we meant in the community. It was pretty amazing. It was an emotional week. I'm happy to be retiring and sad to be closing the store in my life because I've loved it. My customers, my staff, we were family, and they will be missed.
What do you think built that sense of community or family as you described?
Pardon?
What do you believe is the basis that ultimately built that sense of community and family at the Grill?
I have a very friendly staff. I care about my customers. My most important thing was always the customers. The food was secondary. I wanted people to be able to come here and feel like they were at home. And I think they did.
That's certainly the case. You mentioned the testimonials on social media, all those comments, people pouring out their memories. I mean, in what way do you believe that the Grill maybe played a role in all these changes over the years, all these ebbs and flows of the community? What do you think made the Grill such a special place to people to go along that journey with their friends, with their family, introducing people to Sylvan Lake and the Greater West Bloomfield area?
We were stable. We had favorites on the menu that people could count on. They could come here and they would know they were going to get the best walleye in town, or my butter rum syrup with crunchy French toast, and just all the special things that we had that we always had. And people loved that. They knew they could count on us to be consistent, to be friendly, to be just a great place to go.
Vicki Kirker is with us, a longtime owner of the Grill in Sylvan Lake that closed its doors recently after 24 years serving our community, a fan favorite for sure, and so many people with an outpour of love for Vicki, for her entire team over at the Grill, and much deserved congratulations after 24 years. I want to dial it back to 24 years ago because we've talked about the impact it's had on you, the impact it's had on the community, but what drew you to this area and ultimately to open a restaurant like the Grill right here in our community?
Okay, I've been in the restaurant industry for something like 40 years. And my husband at the time, we lived over behind Our Lady of Refuge, so we were in that area. We drove past this restaurant all the time to go to our restaurant we had in Rochester Hills. And one day we just stopped in and said, would you like to sell this? It was close to home and thought it'd be a great place to do business. So that's how we ended up here. And that was December 18th of 2000. So it was a while ago.
And he builds so many memories over the years and so many different connections. People, whether they go through there and they're working a summer job waiting tables, or they go there every single week for family dinner or to get together with a friend for a cup of coffee, you build those memories over the course of years, and you see that journey develop for so many different people. And so as you reflect on the challenges that you faced over the years, what to you makes this journey so special and something that you can look back on from the past 24 years, those 40 plus years in food service, and say, this is a lasting legacy that I can be proud of?
Sometimes it was the challenging years that made me look back and say, oh my God, we did that. COVID, oh my God, we did that. And that was not easy. I think I was on here a couple times during that time. Staff that have been with me for over 28 years, their family, it's those kind of impacts. Customers that I've watched for little babies grow up and are now out of college. It's just been an amazing journey. I've had watched customers pass, get married. Everything in everyone's life, you celebrate the big moments, you celebrate the little moments, you cry with them. It's a lovely industry to be in. I would do it again.
And it's always bittersweet to say goodbye to a staple of the community like this. Of course, it's for a good reason. You get to celebrate a long career in the restaurant business, a successful career. You brought so many people together, and you absolutely deserve to celebrate that. There is the bittersweet element of it, though, because you lose that favorite place that people go in the community to get a good meal, to enjoy some quality time with people. And we think about today, so much of what we do are on our devices, whether it's over Zoom like we're talking now, or it's texting on the phone during the day with people and catching up maybe that way. Why are places like the Grill, that's been here for 24 years, that's been that gathering place, so important to individuals and communities even today?
Oh, thank you so much.
Why do you believe that these places that you physically go are still important today in 2025, Vicki?
Because we're stable and you have a chance to gather with people. People are on their phones all the time on their apps, and I'll even see them come out to eat and, couples, and they don't look at each other. They're just busy scrolling or texting. But to have a place to go where you know other people, where you see your neighbors, people would just stop by and visit other tables because they knew them. My bar was like Cheers. Definitely everybody knew your name up here. You need that. We've lost that connection with people, with our phones, with all this technology. And places like this give you a place to connect again. And you're going to see your neighbor here because they eat on Mondays and Wednesdays, and this one eats on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It makes that connection that we absolutely need. And we've lost.
Yeah, and you see it, and you see the impact in all the outpouring, people coming into town from all different areas, whether they're still in the Greater West Bloomfield community, or they've moved to nearby communities, or they just haven't been there in a while. They come back to say one final farewell, to look back on those fond memories, and that's such a huge impact to have on people's lives. So Vicki, as you prepare, as you now are in the retirement phase, and you do the final elements of ultimately winding down the Grill before its own transition in Sylvan Lake, what's your lasting message for the community here as you say your goodbye and move on into retirement?
Thank you. Thank you for the support of the last 24 and a half years. Thank you for the friendships. Thank you for love. Thank you for sharing your families with us. You will not be forgotten, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be around the area. I live here. So you're stuck with me. That's it.
Well, that is something we can all be very happy about, to still be able to see you around, Vicki, and to continue to be able to thank you for making a place where people can go and have an enjoyable meal, but even better, really enjoyable company with your team and with their neighbors across Sylvan Lake in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Thank you so much for joining us today, for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and congrats on 24 years.
Thank you.
A fond farewell
We'll see
to
you
a
later.
beloved restaurant. Such a big outpouring for the grill in Sylvan Lake after over 20 years, nearly a quarter of a century serving meals right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area on Orchard Lake and Middle Belt in Sylvan Lake. Such a fun and welcoming environment for all different meals all throughout the day. So many friendships, so many memories there. They celebrated their 24 years, and now Vicki earning herself a much-deserved retirement, and we continue to thank her here at Civic Center TV and across our community, a great partner she had been over the years she served our community. Marshbank Park is about to get its groove back as the Marshbank Music Series continues its 2025 Summer Concert Series run with high-energy performances from artists such as Cosmic Groove. Joining me now on the Splash Live is their drummer and manager, TJ Kolikoff. TJ, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on as you're getting ready to perform at the Marshbank Music Series coming up. Tell us, what does it mean to your band to be able to come into one of our local communities here in southeastern Michigan and show off your great music?
We love playing public shows, especially all ages shows. It gives us a chance to play for the communities and get our name out there a little bit more. We're primarily a wedding band, so there's always somebody getting married somewhere or somebody who knows somebody getting married. So these are kind of opportunities for us to kind of showcase and have some fun as well.
I got a challenge for the people of West Bloomfield then. Throw out a proposal at the concert when you see Cosmic Groove out there. Give them a little bit of a preview, and then, hey, look, you got a wedding band for you. They're right there. You can talk to them right after the concert. TJ, as you come out to Marshbank Park for the concert series, tell us a little bit about your band. And you mentioned it's a wedding band, so I'd imagine plenty of hits are what we're going to be hearing on the concert hill.
Yeah, we do not play a lot of deep cuts. We are all about popular danceable music, and that serves us well in public concerts like Marshbank Park coming up this Wednesday. Yeah, we have been together for almost 14 years now, playing a little bit of everything. We've got about a 270 song list. Ranging from everything from modern radio played hits down to Motown and stuff in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all over the place. So a little bit for everybody.
And so with those, you mentioned 270 songs roughly that you've got in your Rolodex. How do you choose a set list to play? Because there's so many different bands that come into these local concerts. They play a lot of the hits. And so the fear is that you're going to play a lot of the same songs that people are hearing in Walled Lake or Royal Oak or other communities. So how do you pick a list that's entertaining, plays the songs that you and the audience love, but still stands out and makes that concert unique?
No, that's a great question. I tend to just pick a variety, and for us, there are certain songs that hit every single time we play them, and also there are some songs that we play that maybe some bands don't play, but they are definite hits. So I usually pick a little bit of everything and try and keep a nice variety in there a little bit for younger people, older people, some slow songs, just a little bit of everything.
Cosmic Groove, top 40 hits coming up at Marshbank Park, the Marshbank Music Series, Wednesdays all throughout the summer. They'll be playing there this Wednesday, July 9th. The event begins at 5:30 and the concert shortly after it all opens up. Plus food, games, other events. It's a great opportunity for the full family to get out there and enjoy a fun night on the concert hill alongside Cosmic Groove. Now, TJ, you're known for sort of a high-energy performance. You got to have that for those danceable hits that you described that you play at these concerts. So how do you maintain that energy and get people that are both familiar with the songs and maybe even with your band into it all throughout that extended performance?
Well, a lot of that comes from them. So we start playing, and they're feeding back to us, and it's a nice circle of energy. You see some people get up and dance. You see people singing along, mouthing along the words. It's not hard to maintain energy at live performances. There's usually not a lot of just sit down and listen.
And imagine, too, something different about that outdoor environment under the pavilion there. You got the big concert hill, people out there enjoying with their families, people of all different ages. I'd imagine for you and for your bandmates, it's a whole different feel playing a concert in the summer in the outdoors and the elements.
It is. Most of these are always free events. Kids are off for the summer, so the parents want to have something for them to do. So we usually get very good turnout. If the weather cooperates, they're absolutely fantastic shows and well attended, and just a lot of fun for us and for the audience.
TJ Kolika is with us from the Cosmic Groove. They'll be performing at Marshbank Park as part of the Marshbank Music Series. Concert is Wednesday night. The event begins at about 5:30 p.m. Concert and all the festivities will be done by 8:30 on Wednesday night. A great activity for you and the whole family if you're looking for something to do in the middle of the week here in West Bloomfield. TJ, you're not only the drummer for Cosmic Groove, you're also the manager, so keeping the pace both during the concert and everything in between. How do you personally balance that out between the logistics of getting booked and getting everything together for a concert, such as you're going to perform on Wednesday night, and then also still being prepared musically each and every week for your performances?
Well, it takes a lot of prep time. We also we do go through an agent, Detroit Event Company, who is actually the one that booked us for this particular event. And so they take some of that load off a little bit, but it's always a set list created a week ahead of time by me. All the logistics sent out ahead of time, and everybody knows where they got to be and when they got to be there. So we'll be ready.
And you play a lot of the hits, and the hits come from all over the country, all over the world. But who are some of the artists maybe that, especially those locally to the Detroit area, to the state of Michigan, that you and your bandmates take inspiration from as you try to entertain people in Greater West Bloomfield at this concert on Wednesday and everywhere else you perform throughout the summer?
Motown is always a great one. You can't be from Michigan and not hit some of the Motown. But you've got your Bob Segers, your Kid Rocks. Anything you pull in locally is always a big hit here in Michigan.
Yeah, I was jamming to some Bob Seger as I was driving around over the weekend. Singing a little bit too loud, got pulled over not because of anything I was doing wrong in traffic. I was just singing so terribly that they asked me politely to close the windows and get off the road. TJ Kolika is with us. They'll be doing good music at Marshbank Music on Wednesday night, Marshbank Park in West Bloomfield. 5:30 p.m. is the beginning of the event. Concert shortly after that. Plenty of food, games, activities, so much more to learn about the event on wbparks.org. TJ, what's next for Cosmic Groove? You're obviously going to be playing Wednesday at Marshbank Park. Anything else coming up if people want to see you after you come to Marshbank this week?
Well, we've got some private events coming up, but publicly we'll do another concert in the Alley in Roseville coming up. Also playing a great venue in Rochester called the Roxy. We're doing a specialized 70s disco show for that one. So you can hit everything up on our website, and the schedule's all there.
Well, TJ, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to seeing you out at the Marshbank Music Series on Wednesday night. Before we let you go, anything else our audience should know about your band or your performance coming up?
No, just be ready for some fun.
Marshbank Music Wednesday nights on the Concert Hill at Marshbank Park this week. You'll be seeing and you'll be hearing from Cosmic Groove. TJ, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
TJ Kolika from Cosmic Groove, their performance Wednesday night. Shortly after the event begins at 5:30 at Marshbank Park. Plenty of food, games, activities. Of course, a beautiful night out at Marshbank Park as well. We hope the weather always keeps up for them so they can have a great performance out on the concert hill. There's plenty more concerts all throughout the summer. You can get more information on the Marshbank Music Series, wbparks.org, and there's always plenty of more information on events all summer long with West Bloomfield Parks on wbparks.org. With job numbers that are improving across the nation, Michigan's unemployment metrics, however, well, they leave a little bit to be desired in comparison to the rest of the union. But close to home, a jobs expert is helping job seekers use the latest in AI technology and, of course, all the usual strategy and the latest strategies out on the market to bolster their resumes and get them interviews and land that perfect new gig. Civic Center TV's Kevin McIntosh spoke to Christian Williams to learn more.
Christian, glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to be here.
Good morning to you as well. And I want to jump right into things. Michigan's unemployment rate is currently among some of the highest in the country. How are you seeing this impact job seekers here in Greater West Bloomfield?
I think in general that we've entered somewhat of a white collar recession. Our unemployment rate is higher than the average. Average unemployment rate right now has been holding for the last several months at about 4.2%. However, we're at 5.4, so we're a little bit higher, and I think that a lot of that is linked to, of course, as everyone knows, in Michigan, we are heavily tied to the automotive industry. Basically, 20% of our jobs are tied to the automotive industry. We're also seeing a lot of layoffs, a lot of things related to the tariffs and things like that. So a lot of jobs are directly tied to manufacturing, or they're indirectly tied. So I think that's really impacting our economy.
You're absolutely right about that. And I know that job searches can be very taxing for a lot of people. It can be a very frustrating process to partake in. But as I said, there have been some great AI tools that have been coming out recently. What practical steps can local residents take starting today to use AI tools like ChatGPT or AI-powered platforms to stand out in their job applications?
So I think that, you can definitely use AI as it pertains to your job search. I, of course, have a business where I'm focused on helping people with resume writing, interview preps, and really tailoring their documents to those roles. But at the same time, there's also AI that can be used for that. I do know people who have used AI to help with their resumes. Now, I don't personally suggest that you just use AI exclusively. I think you can use it as a tool, and then you still need to go in and, possibly make amendments really tailored toward the role that you're applying for. But ChatGPT has been, a useful resource for many. And people have been able to use that to kind of get get some help with, writing their resumes, their cover letters, and things like that, and really customize it toward the role. But I think it's important to really remember that AI is very highly input driven. So you're only going to be as good as what you're feeding it. So you have to really know what to ask it to really make it specific and really make sure that you're creating something that's going to be tailored to you and be specific and not just a generic, document.
That's absolutely right. Don't have it be the only tool in your tool belt. Use it to help you get started, but then maybe fine tune it a little bit more from there. And
That's
you
correct.
just touched on this a little bit just a second ago, but with AI applying to thousands of jobs per minute, how can job seekers in West Bloomfield make sure that their applications remain personalized and meaningful?
I think it's definitely about really making sure that you're looking at the requirement section of the job posting, and you're really making sure that you have those skills. And that's one thing, that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they just kind of mass apply for 20, 30, 40 jobs, but they're not really targeting what the company is asking for. And so a prime example, let's just say that the company's job posting in the requirement section says they want someone with very strong leadership skills. Well, then you need to be showing how you've led a team, how you've managed a team. You need to say that you have strong leadership skills. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't really say that. They just kind of look at a job posting and they say, oh, okay, I have these skills, and then they apply. But I'm like, is your resume really saying that you have that? So even if you're using AI, you need to really make sure that you're showing that you have the skills that are requested in that job posting and that you're tailoring it accordingly.
For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Christian Williams with the CJW Consulting Group in West Bloomfield as we tackle unemployment rates in Michigan and in Greater West Bloomfield and tools that can be used to help you find some work. Now, you talked about it a second ago that manufacturing has been very hard hit in Michigan. What advice do you have for job seekers transitioning from that sector to maybe to something else? Are there new roles or industries that they should explore?
I think that you definitely have to focus on transferable skills. And that's the thing. Sometimes people are in manufacturing roles and some of them may be paid very well, but they're somewhat in a, how do I want to say, I don't want to call it a niche role, but are their skills really transferable to other industries? And I really think that this is the time to really be investing in your education, whether even if it's not a full degree program or it doesn't even have to be a 4-year degree program, but this is the time to really be getting, training, certificates. There's all types of education that you can, pursue, even if it, local community colleges. We're in Oakland County. Oakland County Community Colleges is a great institution. So this is a time where I really think people need to be investing in their education, really leveling up those skills, really looking at what they can focus on and how it's transferable. If you're in a leadership role in manufacturing, focus on those transferable skills so that you can use those skills and, get into another industry. But I think this is definitely a time where you have to remain versatile and you cannot put all of your eggs in one basket.
I like that. Use this opportunity to build your resume up a little bit more, to show what else you could do and to learn some new skills along the way. That is very, very smart advice for anyone, whether they currently have a job or they're looking for something else. Going back to the AI tools that can help you find some other form of work, let's say you end up getting to a job interview. How should job seekers balance AI-driven tools with demonstrating essential human qualities like curiosity, communication, and confidence?
So I think it's definitely important to focus on, your soft skills as well, because at the end of the day, you can have the strong, technical acumen, you can have the education, but if you're not likable, if you're not adaptable, if you're not flexible, people may not want to hire you. You know what I mean? So I think you really have to focus on those hard skills. You can leverage your AI resources, but you have to be able to show that you're a good person for the job, and that's not always exclusively based on your technical skill set.
That's right. All things for everybody to stay aware of. Now, I'm curious, are there emerging job opportunities in our region that are created by the AI economy itself, roles that West Bloomfield residents should possibly be training for?
Well, what I would say is, we definitely have tech companies here, such as Google. Although Google's not necessarily specifically in West Bloomfield, they do have a presence in the Metro Detroit area. Like, there's an office downtown. I believe we have an office in Ann Arbor. So those companies like that, those big tech companies, they have a lot of potential AI opportunities. A lot of the tech roles are also remote, so you do not necessarily have to be, exclusively seated in the region where the company may be. There's lots of roles like AI product managers, research scientists. I had a client recently who worked in generative AI. So there's roles. She worked remotely. So there's roles and there's opportunity to break into that sector.
Once again, Christian Williams with the CJW Consulting Group of West Bloomfield is joining us right now on the Splash Live as we tackle unemployment rates in Michigan and what residents can do to help get them back into the workforce. Now, for young adults entering the job market right now, maybe in a state still recovering from job losses, what role can AI play in helping them find their first meaningful employment?
AI is a very useful tool, and you can ask AI almost anything, like a chat GPT or something like that. And so I think one way to look at it is you can ask AI and say, hey, based on my skill set, based on the experience I've had, based on the internships that I've completed, what role would align best with my background? I think that's one way that you can use it. You can also use it with your resumes and your cover letters and things like that. I think this is the time to really focus on transferable skill sets and to focus on your impact. You cannot just have a task-oriented resume. You need to show your impact, how you've improved costs, how you've, cut costs, how you've negotiated, new relationships you've formed. You really have to focus on that, because a lot of the college students who are graduating right now, they're having a difficult time finding jobs. Again, we're in somewhat economically, we're not in a, the true recession, but we're in somewhat of a white collar recession. And I've even been reading lately how a lot of the elite MBA graduates from the Columbias and the Northwesterns and all those schools, they're having a harder time finding jobs. So if they're having a harder time finding jobs, I'm sure that, that's going to just trickling down to those who maybe didn't go to the as prestigious institutions. So just really focusing on your skill set, impact. That's the thing I cannot stress enough is the impact. You cannot just, focus on tasks. You have to show your impact, and you have to be able to associate numbers with it if you can.
That's right. All very, very wise advice for everybody in the community. And Christian, how are local employers, and this is what we're seeing, how local employers and community leaders are adapting to these tools. What role do you and CJW Consulting play in aligning job seeker skills with evolving local employer needs?
So typically when people come to me, what happens is they book consults with me. I have them send me a few jobs of interest, and what I do is one-on-one personalized consultation. I meet with them, and then I find ways to tailor their resume based on the skills that they have so they can potentially land that job. Now, of course, I can't guarantee that that's going to happen, but, I have great success rate with that. And so it's really just, again, focusing kind of on those transferable skills and going from there.
Well, Christian, we really thank you for stopping by and for giving us this wonderful information for all of us here on the Splash Live. Any final words before we let you go for people to take into consideration as they continue their job search?
The biggest thing that I can tell people right now is that you have to be adaptable and you have to be flexible. And so sometimes that means that you may have to step outside of the realm of what you're applying for. The biggest thing, I'm sure we've all heard, that you can't continue to do the same thing and expect different results. And so you have to switch up your job search. Sometimes you may have to apply for some things that weren't necessarily in your normal purview. And then also you're going to have to increase the number of job positions that you're applying for. This is not the, during COVID just a few years ago, there was a huge surge in hiring, a lot of online jobs, a lot of overhiring, and you could kind of quit a job, go get another remote job and, move on. This is not that anymore. So you're going to have to put out a lot of applications, and just know statistically you're not going to get a call back from the majority of those applications because the application volume is so heavy. So you have to be applying, you have to put yourself out there, and you have to just think outside of the box.
Well, all great information for everybody in the West Bloomfield community to have. Christian, thank you so much for joining us here on the Splash Live today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Every little advantage counts in the job hunt. Christian Williams providing great advice to people across our community from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. And it works. He was on the Oakland County 40 under 40 recently, representing Greater West Bloomfield as well. And of course, using that technology to help you get an advantage in the job market and prepare yourself for those interviews as well. You can find the full conversation and even more interesting conversations with experts in the job market, business, and more across our community. Always available on civiccentertv.com and across our social media. While you're busy with summer fun, perhaps you need an assistant to help you out in your garden. But what if I told you that those assistants are already there? The busiest bees in gardening are, in fact, the bees themselves. And a local expert, Brian Peterson-Roast, recently spoke to Kevin McIntosh to learn more about how you can help our local bee population so that they can help you build the perfect garden.
Thank you for being here, Brian.
It's always great to be with you. Thank you.
We love to talk about it. So let's just get into some of the generalization of what we're going to talk about, right? First and foremost, what are the most important elements to include in a bee-friendly garden during the summer months?
Natives, natives, natives. It's so important that we plant some native flowers for our native bees and our native pollinators like our butterflies.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit more specifics. Are there any specific native plants or flowers that you recommend that are based right here in Michigan?
Well, I have a few favorites myself. I love Gaillardia, which is blanket flower. I love the black-eyed Susans. There's the cone flower. I mean, the list goes on and on. We actually have a lot more native flowers than what people think, and they're actually extremely beautiful. And so they not only help our pollinators, but they make your yard look a lot more beautiful.
Being joined right now by co-founder from Bees in the D, Brian Peterson Rose. We were just recently talking about how we can make our homes and yards more eco-friendly for bees and native plants in general. Just picking up from that conversation, Brian, one thing that I want to ask you about, the different types of bees. Can you just tell us the difference between maybe a native bee and a honey bee? Is there a difference? To break that down, please.
Yeah, great question. A lot of people don't realize this, but in Michigan alone, we have over 460 different species of bees. But we tend to just think of our bees like the honey bees because they do provide us with honey. But our native bees, like some of the bumblebees or the mason bees or the leafcutter bees, are extremely important to our ecosystem.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to be honest, just like the average person, I would think any bee that I see is producing honey. They're all big. I mean, they're all the same. I do see bigger bees that are, bigger and louder than other ones, but I would just never know. So with that being said, how can we ensure as gardeners that we are supporting both the honeybees and the native bees?
Like I said earlier, by planting native, the native bees have more of a symbiotic relationship with those plants, but they also do benefit our honeybees and some of our other insects that we may think are bees, but they're not actually bees at all, like our wasp and our hornets. So the group is even bigger if you include those wasp and those hornets as well.
Woo! Now we're going down a dangerous path. I am scared of those wasps and those hornets, but I'm pretty sure they serve a purpose though, right? But let's kind of get into the other part. So for the people who are aware of pollination in their yards and kind of do their best to set up pollinator gardens, what are some common mistakes you might have seen or heard of when people try to create these pollinator gardens, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
Well, weeds can become a big problem. And so you have to kind of, especially at the beginning of putting these plants in, kind of be on top of things to keep those weeds from overcrowding those natives. But that's the great thing about natives. They actually are used to our climate here in Michigan, and so they don't need quite as much care as maybe some of the annuals that we plant that need to be watered quite continuously. Our natives are designed to maybe go through a little bit of a drought. And then what's nice about them is they spread and they come back every year. They're perennials, so you don't have to keep planting them each year. So I guess that's not really mistakes. That's just kind of the benefits of having the natives.
Yeah, good note to have. Good note to have in our mind when we are preparing our pollinator gardens in general. Okay, so one thing I do want to kind of bring up for our gardeners and people who want to keep maybe pests and other insects away from different parts of their garden, what are the dangers of using some pesticides or herbicides, even those that are labeled bee-friendly or pollinator-friendly?
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes we want to take the easy route and we want to use some sprays or some pesticides to get rid of some of the pest insects or even some of the plants that we don't like. But what we kind of forget is they don't necessarily target just those pest insects or just those plants that are kind of weeds or plants that we don't want. And so it can then affect the whole ecosystem, and those pollinators can take those poisons back to their nest, or it can unfortunately kill them as well.
It's just so much that we got to be aware of when it comes to that. We have to be so gentle when it comes to our nature. Sometimes we just think of nature as just being completely sustainable and just continuously just growing and just rebuilding itself, and that's not always the case. We can damage, sometimes permanently or just long-term damage, a lot of the things that nature provides us, and that can easily affect the ecosystem. So I'm glad you kind of broke that down as well. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, co-founder of Bees in the D, Brian Peterson Rose, just talking about bees, native bees, the difference between honeybees and native bees, and also native plants and how we can best prepare our pollinator gardens. Just a couple things I want to get across from you before we let you go over. Are bees more prone to living and making their homes in the sunnier areas, the shaded areas? Like what certain garden layouts or features are more inviting to bees?
Yeah, bees like the sun. They love the heat. But it kind of makes sense because that's also where most of the flowers grow the most successfully as well.
Okay.
And so they're going to be in that nice hot sun partnership. So yeah, they prefer the sunny locations, although they will go into shady locations to find some pollen and nectar from some of our plants that may grow in a little bit more of a shady location. But yeah, the sun is the preferred spot.
Got you. It would make sense. I mean, I prefer the shade and the hot sun, but they're built a little bit different than we are. So besides that, what are some a few other impactful actions individuals can take to help bees in our community, maybe even beyond planting?
Water is so important. It's the essential for life. And so by having water baths or a bowl with rocks in it that allow our pollinators to come and get a drink, it can be a huge help for them as well. But I do want to caution you, if you have standing water, it also does attract some of our pest insects like mosquitoes. So you want to keep that water changed so that you don't help the mosquito population along as well. But water is definitely something that our pollinators need. And then you've already brought up, just avoid those pesticides, avoid those herbicides that can be harmful to our pollinators.
100%. I can say it myself, Brian, but it means so much more when it always comes from an expert, and we appreciate that. I know we ran through a lot of different topics. Anything else that you want to give out to our community, our gardeners in the West Bloomfield community, before we let you go?
No, I just want to add that we love our partnership with West Bloomfield. We've already did our Beekeeper for a Day tour, which was so much fun to get some of the community members in the hives. And I just would encourage you to continue to watch and follow some other events that we have coming up. We probably are doing again our Honey Sommelier event a little bit later into the season, which is quite a unique event where you get to learn to smell and taste different honeys, much like wines. And so it's always fun for us to get to do that. I know the Pollinator Palooza is coming up. So all kinds of fun things that we get to be a part with West Bloomfield Parks especially.
Yeah, learn a little bit more about nature. Treat these bees differently when you know a little bit more about them. That's what I'm taking away from it. But I thank you so much again for your time and your knowledge. Once again, co-founder of Bees in a D, Mr. Brian Peterson Rose. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much for having me again.
More helpful tips on beesinthed.com. A Civic Center TV favorite is now an Emmy Award winner. One of your favorite programs produced close to home, the Basquatch Hunter Fish Out of Water, recently winning a Michigan Emmy for the very first time. Just days prior to that, host and executive producer Mike McKinstry joined us right here on the Splash Live to talk about another big award haul, that time, of course, with the Basquatch Hunter picking up a Telly Award as well. Here's that conversation.
Mike, great to have you with us.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Of course. First off, congratulations on the awards. That's an incredible achievement. What was your initial reaction when you found out that the Basquatch Hunter won both a gold and silver Telly Award?
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And we were very surprised. One of them was in a new category called Outdoor Adventure. So the silver was definitely unexpected. We're the first time entering in a brand new category. We're the first winners of that category. Then the gold was in Nature and Wildlife, which we've received 2 bronze and a silver in the past. So being able to get the gold was incredible.
I would bet finally getting that gold, it's got to feel great. There's a photo of you right now with both of the awards. And what do these particular wins in the general nature and wildlife category mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, it just shows the variety of our program. So in our show, every episode's different. We take out people fishing that aren't fishermen who chase their dreams doing their own careers, whether it's professional athletes or celebrities or comedians, dairy farmers, policemen, firemen, and bus drivers even. So to show the diversity of our audience and be able to capture that in just the nature and wildlife category, I mean, it's pretty incredible. And the fact that we've won in 2 different categories just speaks for itself right there. I mean, I couldn't be happier with my team and all of our guests on the show for being able to do that.
And you've had an incredible run with the Basquatch Hunter, 4 seasons and 9 years total. How do you feel that the show has evolved since its humble beginnings?
Oh, it's totally. We just talked about this the other day at our crew meeting. We started out on YouTube with me just filming myself with a knockoff GoPro camera from Amazon, and just trying to make YouTube content that I liked, and it spread, and other people liked it too. So to see where we're at today, we've got a crew of 11 amazing people. We travel the country filming with, MLB, NHL, and, we have some incredible episodes coming up. We're going international for 2026.
Nice.
It's just amazing what we're doing. And of course, the biggest thing is coming up in 2 days on Saturday, we have the Michigan Emmys, and we are nominated for our 5th time in the lifestyle category for the Emmys. So we're hoping to bring home an Emmy this weekend as well.
Have you not won an Emmy yet?
We have not won yet. We're the first kayak fishing show in history to be nominated, let alone 5 times. So we are hoping to become the first kayak fishing show in history to win an Emmy this Saturday. So it should be good.
Fingers crossed. I got a good feeling about this one. Now, Mike, outdoor and adventure programming is kind of a niche with passionate followers. How have your fans influenced the direction or the tone of your series over the last few years?
Well, one thing we do a really good job of is we listen to our audience really well, but we also stick to our truth, like what we think is the best, like whatever we think is fun and what we want to do, we do, and our fans respond really well. But to see them get inspired, and that's the biggest reward we could possibly get from what we do, is to see these kids and adults from all walks of life get inspired to chase their dreams because they saw us do it in the show. That's how we know we're doing the right thing. As long as we keep on making an impact and keep on inspiring people, we know we're going on the right path.
That's what everybody wants to see, and it's great that you're providing that to so many people. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the Basquatch hunter himself, Mike McKinstry, talking about his recent Telly Awards, a gold and silver award for television programming and for general nature and wildlife programming. Now, Mike, you've talked about how much that your team really plays a role in helping make this show what it is. Can you share a bit more about the behind-the-scenes process of the Basquatch Hunter and what your team's contributions mean to the success of the show?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say that everyone sees the shiny tip of the pyramid and doesn't realize the foundation that had to be built to raise that up so high. And that's what my team is we start a year in advance. Like right now, we are planning and scheduling and working extremely hard to start filming for 2026, even though 2025 starts airing in 2 weeks. So we start a year in advance. So all the work that everybody doesn't see is me and my team grinding like crazy, working so hard, traveling the country and sleepless nights and working 12, 14-hour days and just getting these all set up so we can start the editing process next year and get the episodes out on time. So a lot of that work that people don't see starts right now. I mean, we've already been doing it for months, but it starts in July. We start filming all over again. And, we kind of keep that under wraps. Like people don't get, because we're trying to promote the current season that starts airing in July. But we're already filming for next season. We're already planning, scheduling. We have some incredible guests coming up. And I just can't wait to share this season. And when that season's over, I'm just going to be 100% on next year. So without the team behind me, we wouldn't have the foundation to be able to show off that shiny tip at the end where everyone gets to see.
Wow, sounds like you've got a lot planned for the future. Now, with the show gaining even more recognition, and I know you just talked about this a little bit, but can you give us a couple more hints on what fans can expect with this new season of the Basquatch Hunter? I know you talked about possibly going international.
Yes. So for 2025 that's coming up, we have the biggest season we've ever had. We have NHL, we have MLB, we have LPGA, we have some of the most amazing scenery, cinematic things happening this year. But for 2026, I'll let a couple slip. We are filming in Thailand. We're doing our first international episode. That's going to be incredible. That's a once-in-a-lifetime trip. I still can't believe we're doing that one. We just officially locked in a baseball episode that is a little bit more fun than normal baseball. That's all I can really say. I don't want to give away the team, but I think some people will catch on to that one. We have a guitar factory. We have some amazing things coming in for next season. And I will be sharing that stuff come July. Once we start filming, there'll be vlogs and behind the scenes stuff and photography. Like there'll be stuff everywhere for what's going to come up. But there's a couple sneak peeks coming up. But 2025 is definitely what you guys got to be excited about. Starting July 5th, we air on Discovery Channel this year. And our episodes this year are absolutely amazing. We have 6 animal episodes. I mean, who can go wrong, you know?
Absolutely. You're setting the stage very, very nicely. I can't wait to see what's to come. Now, Mike, how do these awards motivate you as a content creator moving forward? Do they change your creative approach or reaffirm your current path?
So the awards, and I don't want to downplay any awards. I think awards are amazing. But the awards are just kind of letting us know that we're on the right path. We just keep going. Like we pause for a minute, get our pictures, celebrate for, a couple hours, put them on the shelf, and then just keep on going. It's really important that when you set goals, you use them as launch pads, not as destinations. If you use like an award or any goal as a destination, you get complacent once you achieve it. So we use it as a launch pad. We're like, cool, we got it. Let's just take off. Like, let's keep using this as a trajectory and launch. So the awards are awesome. All the accolades that we get, any awards we have are incredibly important to me. I love reflecting on them once in a while. But to me, it's just showing us that we're on the right path. Keep on going. Just don't take your foot off the gas, and just keep on trying to make it bigger and better every year, make a bigger impact.
That's right. Onward and upward to great things in the future. Mike, I know you're a busy guy. I'm going to start to wrap this up. We got a couple more questions for you. For anyone who's watching this, aspiring outdoor filmmakers or hosts, what advice would you give about blending entertainment, adventure, and storytelling in a way that resonates with viewers?
The best advice I give everybody that wants to start out making content is do it for yourself. There's a famous music producer who made a very incredible statement in an interview a long time ago that I always swear by. Someone asked him how he knows how to make music for listeners. Like, how does he make music that's so popular? And he laughed and he said, I don't. He said, I make music for me and people just agree. And that's how I always tell people to follow their path, whatever it is. If you're trying to do something you're passionate about, do it for what you're passionate about and let other people follow. It'll all come. If you do it for attention, it won't be real or authentic. If you do it for money, it won't be successful. Do it for yourself. All the other stuff will follow as long as you're authentic. So do it for you, and people will agree with you. If you just put yourself out there, people will follow.
That is such a great code to live by. Do it for yourself, and everything else will follow after that. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the public after winning these incredible awards?
I want to let everyone know that don't be afraid to chase your dreams. I was doing a job I loved 10 years ago, and I was doing that job just so I could afford my hobbies on the weekends. And then I decided to make my hobbies on the weekends my job so I wouldn't have to do that anymore. And it was scary, it was risky, but I encourage everybody to try it. Make a 1-year plan, take those risks, invest on yourself, and instead of somebody else, invest on yourself, put everything you have into you, and it's amazing what can come out of that. A life-changing decision can happen just like this if you really take a risk and believe in yourself. So I do want to make sure that's always the message out there for everything I do is just take that risk, take that jump. And if you don't fly, just be good at climbing. That's what I always say. So, and check out our show at basquatch.com. Check out our book series on there too at sethsquatch.com. And get ready for 2025. The season's going to be amazing. July 5th, we start airing on Discovery.
Can't wait to see it. Mike, thank you so much for joining us today here in the Splash Live. And congratulations once again.
Of course. Thank you so much.
The new season already underway for the Basquatch Hunter. You can find the Basquatch Hunter every single day airing on Civic Center TV. A full listing available on civiccentertv.com. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always available on demand on civiccentertv.com and across our social media as well. Big thank you to our entire crew and to you, of course, for tuning in. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Kieft. Live, local, social. This has been The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.